Well, again, good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to our 2023 Highway Safety Summit. My name is Chrissy Nizer. I'm the administrator of the Maryland Motor Vehicle Administration and Governor Wes Moore's Highway Safety Representative. The Moore administration is deeply committed to safety on Maryland roadways. In a few minutes, we'll share with you what we know today about Maryland's traffic fatalities for 2022 and some new developments that will allow the department and the state to continue our data-driven efforts. I want to thank all of our partners and recognize those here with us today. Tim Smith, Administrator of the State Highway Administration, Stephanie Hancock and the team at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Region 3 Office, Colonel Kevin Anderson, our Maryland Transportation Authority Police, our many statewide law enforcement officers and first responders who are with us today, our Highway Safety Office grantees who are here, and hopefully some new future grantees to come. I would also like to thank one of our elected officials who's here with us today, Delegate Palgovitz-Carr, who's been a sponsor of our highway safety legislation throughout the years, and we appreciate her leadership and support. And all of our partners on a federal, state, and local level, all working diligently with us to help eliminate the deadly epidemic of traffic crashes. I'm proud to have joining me on the stage today our Transportation Secretary Paul Wiedefeld, as well as the Maryland State Police Superintendent Colonel Roland Butler. And in the audience today at our annual Highway Safety Summit are hundreds of stakeholders in highway safety. We truly can't do this without you. And I know everyone shares the same goal, which is to eliminate the unnecessary serious crashes, injuries, and fatalities that result from incidents on the roadway. Again, I want to emphasize these are crashes, not accidents. The crashes are results of choices that drivers have made either before they get behind the wheel or while they're driving. However, safe roads are a shared responsibility from drivers, riders, and walkers, and by working together, we can all make safe choices to make our roadways safer. In 2022, the longest stretch we had without a fatality was 5 days. Think about that for a minute. Not even a week went by, a full week, without a fatality. It's a tragedy. We can and must do better, and together we're dedicated to making the vision of a safer Maryland a reality. It's now my honor to introduce our Secretary, Paul Wiedefeld, to discuss a new tool the Highway Safety Office and the Maryland State Police have developed to analyze the fatalities on our roads and help direct new and innovative projects to drive down injuries and fatalities. Secretary Wiedefeld.
Good morning, and again, thank you, Chrissy and the entire team. So on behalf of Governor Moore and the Maryland Department of Transportation, I want to thank you again for being here today. As I mentioned before, this Highway Safety Summit comes as MDOT and our contract community are still mourning the loss of 6 construction workers killed in a work zone along the Baltimore Beltway. Also in our minds is the state trooper recovering after a vehicle entered a work zone in Parkville area, also along the Baltimore Beltway, and struck his vehicle. As we talk about these crashes, we're in the second week of Distracted Driving Month, where we encourage everyone be the focused driver when they're behind the wheel. And let's not forget that Work Zone Awareness Week begins on Monday. It's important that we promote Work Zone Awareness Week, yet our highway workers, our neighbors, need our attention and safety every week and every day. We're starting this spring construction season, and it's critical to highlight the message of caution in work zones. Our broader message of highway safety is designed to ensure everyone makes it to their destination safely. In 2022, tragically, 563 people were killed on our roads. That is the same number of fatalities in Maryland experienced in 2021. We must do more to move this number in the right direction. We lost 563 community members. The breaking down that numbers is as follows: 346 drivers, 65 passengers, 135 pedestrians, and 11 bicyclists. Tragic. Preventing roadway crashes, injuries, deaths is a top priority for the Moore-Miller administration, Every crash that occurs on our roads is predictable and preventable. Each year, we see behaviors that contribute to injuries and fatalities on our roadways. Speed, impairment from alcohol and drugs, failure to wear a seatbelt, and distracted driving. While these causes do not change, the faces of the victims and the loved ones they leave behind do. We all have the ability and the responsibility to stop these crashes from happening. At MDOT, we are committed to the data-driven approach to eliminate these crashes. Over the past 18 months, the crash data page on our Maryland Highway Safety Office website has been visited more than 27,000 times. We've heard from people across the state and across the country about the accessibility of our crash data. They appreciate the transparency that Maryland provides, and people are seeking and using this data. Today, we're announcing enhanced access to our data through a new innovative and interactive crash data dashboard. Let's take a moment to look at the video to preview this new tool.
Welcome to the new Crash Fatality Dashboard. This new interactive dashboard has a number of features that were designed to give stakeholders and the public a tool to review crash fatality data in Maryland. This dashboard is intended to be similar to the Federal Fatality Analysis Reporting System, but provides additional detail for Maryland-specific crash data. As reports are completed and crash details are finalized, these numbers will change over time. Due to open reports and criteria required for data to be included in FARs, data in this dashboard may not match. Starting off with the main page, this is a high-level overview, complete with a heat map of crash locations in each jurisdiction. At the top, all data can be filtered by year, by month, and by jurisdiction. As filters are applied, the heat map and the day and hourly temporal chart will adjust. Since we're in Anne Arundel County, we will use that as our example today. Along the top of the dashboard, you'll find the total number of fatalities, as well as the types of drivers, occupants, and road users. When you hover over the fatalities box, you will see the number of fatal crashes and those still under investigation. As you hover over the other boxes along the top, you'll see the number of fatal crashes involving those road users. Crashes can result in multiple fatalities. Therefore, the total number of fatal crashes is often lower than the number of fatalities. As you move to the second row, you'll see the most common contributing factors of fatalities and crashes: speed, aggressive, distracted, impairment by alcohol and/or drugs, and unrestrained occupants. Down to the third row, each of these boxes expand into additional dashboards. Under emphasis area, you'll see data for the crashes involved in the expanded emphasis areas that are all a part of the Strategic Highway Safety Plan. Again, these can all be broken down by jurisdiction. Under interest areas, you can see the number of fatalities for additional categories, including intersection-related, emergency vehicle involved, as well as hit and runs. Under year-to-date, you'll be able to see the current crash data compared to the same week in previous years. Under occupants, you'll see the breakdown of contributing factors of the crashes that lead to fatalities, occupant ages and gender, and if safety equipment was used. You can filter this data by clicking on different bars. Under non-motorists, you'll be able to see non-motorist type, actions at the time of the crash, lighting conditions, non-motorist movement, location of non-motorists at the time of the crash, and the breakdown of age and gender. Under vehicles, data is available on the type of vehicle, type of collisions, main impact areas, and vehicle movement at the time of the crash. Finally, under roadway, data is available on the route types where the crash occurred and the speed limit, as well as the weather and road conditions. While this was just a brief overview of the Crash Fatality Dashboard, we encourage you all to go and explore. Click on different data sets to see all of the information available. There is an FAQ available on the webpage, so we'll answer a lot of your questions, but please don't hesitate to reach out to the Maryland Highway Safety Office with any questions, as well as your feedback.
Very good. I want to thank State Highway Administrator Tim Smith. Tim Smith, and also Chrissy Nizer, who actually did a great emceeing on that, thank you. And obviously Dr. Tim Kearns and our partners at the Maryland State Police for organizing and creating this dashboard. This dashboard helps us all users visualize data and gives more real-time information to assist in forms of transportation planning and preventing crashes. We hope our partners will use this tool to apply solid data to their highway and safety approach. While the new dashboard is an innovative tool, we must never forget that every single piece of data represents a person: a mother, a father, a child, a grandparent, a friend, or a coworker. This is why MDOT's top priority is safety. While we already noted last year's numbers, I must tell you, unfortunately, already this year we've lost 146 people, including our 6 neighbors killed on I-695 early last month. These deaths take a tremendous toll on the families and our communities, and they should remind us all: every death or injury on our roadway is one too many. It's going to take each and every one of us to achieve our goal of 0 deaths on Maryland roadways. So please, as you leave here today, slow down, put your phone down, and pay attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary. We appreciate your leadership and all your guidance as we move forward in this area. As the Secretary indicated, this dashboard was not developed overnight, and for many of you who've been involved in our traffic records conversations, as I have since I first joined the Department of Transportation many years ago, this has been a labor of love for many of us. And so as I recommended to some of my colleagues, savor this moment, because it was not necessarily an easy effort, but certainly an important and worthwhile effort so that you, our partners, have all the access to information that you need. I do want to take a moment to continue to extend the thanks to a few individuals, because it was such an effort to put together. Dr. Tim Kearns, the director of our Highway Safety Office, Doug Mowbray, our Traffic Records Project Manager for the Highway Safety Office, Chris Correa, who was the solution architect for the Maryland State Police, Tim Smith, as well as the State Highway Administration Office of Traffic and Safety, Washington College, the University of Maryland National Study Center, and many more I can't name. It's such critical work that you're doing and provides access to so many people. Our next speaker is someone that I've had the pleasure of working with for many years. Law enforcement is one of the strongest partners in highway safety, not just in helping with the enforcement of laws, but really through the unique opportunity they have as they interact with motorists and provide education, as well as their partnerships. Colonel Roland Butler is one of our many law enforcement partners and highway safety champions. He began his law enforcement career in 1994 as a Maryland State Police cadet. During his 29-year tenure with the Maryland State Police, he's moved up the ranks, most recently as the chief of the Field Operations Bureau. And as we know, Governor Moore appointed him and was just sworn in last night, so now we can take the acting out of his title, and I'm so proud to introduce my friend, Colonel Roland Butler.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Chrissy. Thank you to our partners at the Maryland Department of Transportation, Motor Vehicle Administration Highway Safety Office for the collaboration and your true commitment to traffic safety. I'm honored to represent the Maryland State Police and all the dedicated police officers and sheriff's deputies across the state of Maryland who work hard each day to make our state safer. The work of our public safety partners is incredibly important to our combined mission of saving lives. With innovative approaches like the dashboard, we're able to identify areas of greater risk for fatalities based upon specific driving behaviors. Using this information allows law enforcement to deploy additional resources where they are most needed. Speed, aggressive driving, distracted driving continue to be the leading causes of crashes we see throughout our state. These dangerous driving behaviors have the highest potential for ever changing a life in a matter of seconds. Highway tragedies like the recent I-695 crash in Baltimore County that claimed the lives of 6 highway workers haunt all of us who work hard every day to keep Marylanders safe on our highways. Although the investigation into the cause of this accident is ongoing, we can certainly ascertain that speed was a factor in this crash. Safety on our roadways is a top priority. Motorists who continue to violate laws that regulate safety on our roads are clearly underestimating and not understanding the dangers they're creating for themselves and for others. That is why continuous collaboration between our public safety partners and law enforcement is oh so important. We join forces to integrate data with law enforcement initiatives and address high-risk driving behaviors. While we work to enforce traffic laws every day, we also work to get the message out to motorists. These crashes are preventable. The reckless driving behaviors we see on our roadways are inexcusable. Distracted driving is now the leading cause of vehicle crashes. Every year in Maryland, over 24,000 injuries are caused by a distracted driver who is focused on something other than driving a motor vehicle safely. Speed violations, aggressive driving also add to the number of crashes on our roadways, increasing the potential for death or serious injury. Impaired driving continues to be a problem. We see a yearly average of almost 3,000 injuries from drivers who are under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs. Again, these behaviors are preventable. 2 weeks ago, a motorist rear-ended a state trooper parked inside of a work zone on I-695 in Baltimore County. He was working an overtime assignment, seated in his patrol vehicle with his emergency lights activated. His job that day was to create a safety barrier between the motoring public and our highway workers. This crash involving a suspected impaired driver could have easily resulted in another tragic loss of life. Police officers in Maryland recognize the important mission that we have in preventing traffic crashes. We enforce vehicle and traffic laws daily. We analyze crash data to identify areas where the highest number of incidents occur. We continue to conduct high-visibility enforcement campaigns in those areas and deploy additional personnel with one goal in mind: to prevent tragedies from occurring. Traffic crashes are a threat to public safety. Impaired driving, speeding, distracted driving, and aggressive driving, failing to wear seatbelts, continue to be risky decisions that motorists make every day that have life-threatening consequences. From public safety messages to high-visibility operations and increased enforcement, a coordinated effort between our federal, state, and local partners is more important now than ever. We must remain laser-focused. We must continue the awareness campaigns to reach motorists. We must reach them before they make a decision that endangers themselves or others traveling on our highways. In alignment with our public safety partners, our vision is also zero. Zero deaths, zero injuries. And that is why we as law enforcement work hard every day towards that particular goal. This may sound like an unrealistic, unachievable goal, but it's truly our only goal. There is no other option. We need the motoring public to be impassioned by what we can accomplish and by what we believe the future of traffic safety in Maryland can be. Let's do all we can to make Maryland roads safer. Together, we have a critical role to play. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Thanks to funding from the Maryland Highway Safety Office, additional troopers have been deployed in different areas across the state. The Maryland State Police Spider Team, an elite group of troopers whose sole purpose is to remove impaired drivers from our roadway, continues to deploy their resources every weekend. They cast a wide net to focus on areas where a higher number of impaired driving crashes occur. This year alone, the Spider Team has removed 94 impaired drivers from our highways. Think of the crashes prevented and the lives saved each and every day with those arrests. These patrol initiatives combine high visibility and proactive enforcement with education to the public about why enforcement is actually taking place. When more troopers are visible, the potential for people engaging in unsafe driving decreases. The Maryland State Police will not give up. Every trooper across the state is committed to addressing excessive speed, aggressive and impaired driving, and other violations that contribute to highway tragedies. The last task any law enforcement officer wants is to deliver a notification to a family member that your loved one will not be coming home. Your Maryland State Troopers are working hard to address traffic fatalities, as are police departments across Maryland. What we need is for motorists to do their part. Park your cell phone. Be part of the goal to end distracted driving. Plan a sober ride home for yourself or for others to get home safely. Obey the speed limit. Be courteous to other motorists. We all want to get to our destinations, but we need to take our time and get there safely. For our emergency responders and motorists on the side of the road with emergency lights activated, motorists have to obey the move over law to keep them from harm. And to better protect our highway workers who dedicate their lives to bettering our roads, motorists need to slow down and use extra caution when traveling through a work zone. Help us keep Maryland safe. Traffic safety does not happen on its own. It is the commitment of public safety advocates, hardworking law enforcement officers, personnel working daily on our state and county roads, and citizens who do their best to make traffic safety a priority. It must become a priority for every driver. Until it is, we will remain aggressive in our enforcement and do all we can to change the driving behaviors that threaten the safety of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Butler, and thank you to all of our law enforcement officers, our first responders who are there day and night, all hours of the day, keeping us safe and making sure that we arrive home safely. We need to keep them in mind when we're behind the wheel as well. All the highway safety leaders in this room know that our actions when we're behind the wheel have a profound impact, and it could impact the safety and lives of everyone around us. We want to charge all Marylanders to remember that when they're behind the wheel as well. Our lives can be forever changed in just one single moment. For far too many people, a crash is that moment. You've heard the goal echoed. It is a goal we all share. 0 crashes, 0 injuries, 0 deaths on Maryland roadways. It's so important because today we announced numbers. But behind each number, it's a family. It's an empty seat at the table at the holidays, every day. It's a sadness that doesn't go away. And so while we're here today to make that announcement, try to remember the victims, because the reality is that's what we're all fighting for, and that's why the only acceptable goal is 0. It'll take each and every one of us, every Marylander, to reach that goal. So please, slow down, buckle up, and take safety into your own hands, because every life counts. This concludes our press event for today. The speakers will be available for interviews outside the auditorium. We're going to take a brief 5-minute break, and then the conference will continue. Thank you all again very much for being here.